Hi, thank you for joining me today, and in today's video I'm documenting some photos from our trip to New York back in 2015. It was the summer and it was very warm. It was the first time the kids had been there, and this was the first day we'd just arrived at our hotel and decided to go for a quick wander, and we got them some hot dogs from one of the hot dog sellers. So I've printed out 6 photos, 3 of Amelia and 3 of James, and I printed these on a 4x6 photo sheet. So the total size is 4x6, so they're 2x2 photos, and you can see I've just matted them onto white cardstock, and now I'm going to mat them onto black cardstock to create 2 columns of photos, almost like film strips. I'm going to be using Vicki Boutin's Where To Next, and the only reason for that was that I remembered that in the papery pieces they had some hot dogs. So I thought, as they're eating hot dogs, I'll never use them otherwise, so I decided to use this collection so I could get that hot dog used. I also pulled out those shoes you can see on the left hand side because we did a lot of walking that holiday. I think anybody who's been to New York will know how much walking you do when you go there, so I thought they would be appropriate, and the green is the perfect match to Amelia's blouse that she's wearing in that photo. So just finishing trimming these off, and as you can see, of course, it's going to be a vertical layout again for me. I'm justifying it to the right hand side because James is looking over to the left, so I thought that would be the best place to put it. And I'm going to use the stencil from this set with speckled egg ink from Tim Holtz just to create these globes on the background. So I love this stencil because you can move it and reposition. It's a continual stencil, so you just reposition the globes and keep moving it around, and it looks like one continual piece. So I'm going to have a strip down the right hand side, and then I just bring it out towards the middle a little bit because I know that's where my ephemera pieces are going to go. And of course, as always, most of this is covered up, but it does peek out from behind the bits that I'm putting on the layout and does add a different dimension there. So it's well worth doing, even though a lot of it is covered up. So this is where I was saying I'm just pulling it out to the middle a little bit as well, just to create a little bit of flow and interest, so it's not just a block of colour on the right hand side. Almost there now, just finishing off here. Just wanted to add a little bit more coming out to the left because no matter how much I do, it's never enough. So I'm trying to make the area bigger when I do these stenciling bits. So now coming in with the papers, and I'm just choosing more or less the neutral colours. So this beautiful map piece with the blues on it, and I'm just pulling out from the scraps that I've got. This was just a scrap that was that size, so just trimming down the length so it wasn't the full 12 inches. This was just a piece left over from another bit, and this stripy bit doesn't actually make the cut, but that black and white piece does, but most of it's covered. If not all, actually, looking at the layout, I think it's all covered by the end of it, but it's nice just to go through the process. So I wanted to bring this yellow in just so that I could bring yellow in around the page because the hot dog's got the yellow on it. I wanted to make sure that that wasn't the only piece with yellow because it would have looked odd. So I brought in that Dress My Craft punch, border punch with the circles, and now I'm just adding a full 12-inch strip down the right hand side there. I brought in some seam binding because I want to add that down that strip as well. And I'm not going to tie it to anything or use it as a ribbon, it's purely as a decorative piece going down as a strip down the page, so you'll see in a minute. I'm just going to add the glue to the top of that and then ruche this all the way down the page, and I really love the way that looks. It brings in a beautiful texture. Just fiddling to ruche it up as I go down. And look at the difference that makes. It really makes that yellow pop as well. Just adding a tiny bit more glue there, and once that's stuck down I can carry on with the paper strips. So distressing the edges, and then I shall stick this down but not right next to the ribbon. I decided to leave a little bit of a gap just so that that stenciling pokes through as well. So glue that down, and then this lovely teal blue strip. Just checking that that is straight, and it wasn't quite straight, so just as well I did. So I have to add a bit more glue there. So now this piece will overlap that map paper. Just making sure that I've distressed all those edges. At first I think it's going to go to the left, but it does go over to the right in the end. So just checking that I'm happy with the way that these papers look. Because I was bringing it to the right, I was worried that the block of papers wasn't big enough for the photos to be held, but it's absolutely fine. Now you'll see I'm trying to distress this paper. It's got pretty crinkled in my box of paper as I move things around in there. I get about halfway down and just give up. There. I just think that's enough. And you can't tell on the page. I'm just looking at the page now and it looks absolutely fine. So just getting that situated. Again, that's another 12-inch piece. So I've got the yellow piece that's 12-inch and that lovely dotty piece that's 12-inch, and then the other bits are smaller, just to provide different heights and interest on the page. So getting this last piece stuck down, and then I can get the photos down and continue. So I love having those black and white borders around the photos. They really make them the focal point of the layout, even with the different colours behind them. So just adding some foam pads to each of to the strip with Amelia on here, and then the one of James I shall stick down flat to the page. Again, just to provide different heights and interest. So there's that hot dog that was the basis of this layout. So just sticking that strip of James down, and then I can carry on embellishing. I'm going to bring those trainers in next, shoes, whatever you want to call them. And I've also pulled out one of our canvas flare badges that says awesome on it, because they really did love their hot dog. And I think this was what ignited Amelia's love for having mayonnaise on everything, because she had mayonnaise on her hot dog, which I thought was a strange choice, but she seemed to love it. So there are those trainers just tucked down under there, trying to decide where to put this flare badge. I'm not quite sure, so I go on to the title. And I find a puffy word that says captured, and I think that's perfect for this. So I'm going to stick that down on the left of the photos. I'll do a little bit of faffing because I can't work out exactly how to put it on the page, but I get there in the end. Just checking with the ruler. It felt like it wasn't quite straight, but it's very hard with this script writing to work out what is straight, because they're up and down, very much up and down. So I pull one of the hearts, and then I decide that I want to layer something behind that word. So you'll see that in a minute. So it comes up and down a couple of times, this, but it does stay in that position. So I'm just coming into all the ephemera pieces that I've got. These are the washi stickers from the papery pack, and it's a ticket, which I think will work really nicely behind the photos there. So I'm just having to pull that D up to overlap it over that ticket, but I'm much happier with that. I feel like it's more cohesive having things joined together like that. So that's joining the photos to the title rather than the title just floating on the middle of the page. And then this little sticker just says the food, so obviously that works really nicely. And then on this sticker sheet I find this yum. It just says yum, so I'm going to add that below. So again, pulling that red heart off and putting it back on again. And then this green arrow says time for a snack. So again, I think that works nicely. So once again, just pulling in my T-square ruler, checking that everything's straight, and then I'm going to add my journaling. And the journaling just reads, it had been a long day, but we wanted a quick look around. Hot dogs from the cart were in order before moving on to Central Park. So these photos, I have actually created like a Project Lifestyle album for them, but I thought it'd be nice to have some of them in our main albums. So I'm just going to choose some of my favourite photos from that trip and create layouts to put in our album from 2015. So I decided on this flare badge going down here at the bottom. So I've just added some black tangled thread behind that and sticking that down, overlapping that hot dog again. And then bringing in a couple of the little coloured dots from the foam stickers and just dotting that around the title. And then going back into the ephemera pieces, and I wanted some tags to go at the top or something to create a little bit of height at the top of those pictures. So I choose a tag. I've cut off the main body because it's not going to stick behind. Now I've already stuck those photos down, so I just need the top bit to show. And then this lovely bracket piece is going to layer in. It just takes me a little while to work out where to put it, but I layer it on the right hand side and then the tag on the left there. So just gluing those bits down. And I will add some twine to that tag as well. And here it is. So just wax twine in like a dark grey. I just thought that would work nicely with these colours, and I'm just going to tie it in a bow today. I do faff about a lot with those strings. And then I see this little yellow arrow, and I think that would be really nice to bring the yellow into the left there. So I lead that down from Time for a Snack. And then I realised that I've stamped the date and I'd left it on 2013 and this was 2015, so I'm just having to change the 3 to a 5 on that. It looks fine, it doesn't bother me. And then finally I'm going to come in with some little hole reinforcer punches in black and just bring 3 of those around the page, and that just brings that black around the page that I've got in the title. So bending those in half and then just adding the glue to the little crease on those. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this process. It was fun to pull out that Where to Next collection again. It's been a little while. See you again soon. Bye.